Wow. Gervonta Tank Davis's last victim, Hector Luis Garcia, finally breaks his silence and shockingly blames Meek Mill in the Gary Russell spat as the reason why he lost to Gervonta Davis. That's what I want to talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing, some very startling news, I guess you could say. So Fight Hub did an interview with Hector Luis Garcia, and he says, quote, "If I won that fight against Gervonta Davis, it would have elevated me. What hurt the most is I got stuck at the moment. I had rhythm in the fight until the referee stopped the fight. I felt I had gained composure, but after that, everything was loose. It wasn't right, but it was the ref's call. You have to respect it, but it wasn't right. Once I got to the hotel, I recognized that I should have continued. I kept questioning to myself, why did I stop? I should have just kept going. Some say it was planned. I heard it was planned by Gervonta Davis's team at the moment. I felt like I was winning the fight round by round. I was winning and I was prepared. I felt like I was getting more explosive as the rounds were going on." Wow. End quote. I mean, this is appalling for Hector Luis Garcia, and I'm a competitive person myself. I don't like losing, but a loss is a loss, and these excuses, they don't change the outcome. It doesn't make you undefeated again. And with this particular set of excuses from Hector Luis Garcia, I think sometimes it's better to just say less. Like, I understand being interviewed, but what's done is done. You lost fair and square. And in my opinion, less is more here. And Hector Luis Garcia, a lot of these fighters need PR people. And if they have PR people, they need to be in better touch with them, because this just doesn't do you any favors when you put stuff out. Like, how are you going to blame Tank Davis for people in the crowd, celebrities at that, fighting? Like, how could Tank Davis's team have, first of all, just look at the people involved. Let's say Gilly, Wallow, you had Meek Mill, some guys from Philly, Meek Mill's entourage, and then you had Gary Russell. Who could have set this up? Like, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Tank Davis doesn't even have a relationship with the Russell brothers. In fact, Gary Russell went live or did a video at the Tank fight, and he was criticizing Tank and saying he doesn't look good, he doesn't look explosive, and there's been some history of banter between the two. So how did Tank orchestrate Gary Russell and Gary Russell, who he doesn't have a relationship, and if so, he doesn't have a positive relationship with? How did he make them fight some other people or come close to near blows? So for Hector Luis Garcia to actually suggest that, less is more. I mean, that just sounds god-awful. The other thing is, you look at Hector Luis Garcia, and he was knocked out because he failed to get off the stool, and he failed to continue fighting on. So how are you going to blame Tank? Like, okay, let's say, I'm just being objective as possible. Let's say you felt you were doing great in the fight, and that brief break threw you off course. You still quit in the fight, and it sounds like he feels the type of way of it, because he says he got back to his hotel and he was asking why he didn't just fight on. Because any fighter knows that if the doctors or the ref come to your corner after a bad round, you know what that's about. You know what that talk is about. If they're coming to your corner, they're coming to check on you. So if you wanted to truly fight on, you would have to give them the reassurance that they need in order to be able to continue participating in the fight. If you don't do that, if you stutter your words or you're slow to react, it's just almost like getting knocked down. If you get knocked down and the ref is like, put your gloves up, come to me, walk this way, and you're not listening to the ref instructions, or you're acting weird, or you're slow to respond, or you're not making eye contact, then it shows that you're so out of it and or you don't want to continue. Everybody in boxing, most of these guys have been boxing since age 6, 7, 9, so they've been boxing their whole life. You have an Olympian in Hector Luis Garcia. You got to know that. You got to know if they're coming to your corner, doctors, ringside physicians, refs, and they're questioning you. You can't say, oh, I can't see, because they might give you like one more opportunity and you're like, oh, it's all blurry. Then they're going to cancel the fight or you're quitting or whatever, however people are going to interpret it. And everybody knows that. So it sounds like Hector Luis Garcia is having a difficult time embracing the loss. And again, you quit on the stool and chose not to come back out. So that has nothing to do with let's say you lost focus because of the Meek Mill, Gary Russell fight. Okay, but then you start getting pieced up and then you chose to end it. You chose that. Tank Davis was ready to fight on, but I firmly believe that Hector Luis Garcia chose his fate because he knew what was going to happen and he was in no condition to continue. So he pulled the plug on it because, it's like somebody being in the hospital on life support with no brain activity. And then the doctors say, like, even if they came back, they would be a vegetable because there's no activity. So that's when the family makes a tough decision to take them off life support. So in the same vein, I firmly believe Garcia knew that he was in no shape to really continue. And if he were to continue, he was going to get brutally knocked out. So you can't really blame that on Tank or a fight. I don't really know exactly why they stopped it, and because there's no timeouts in boxing. But if a referee does call a timeout, just like there's knockdowns that fighters have suffered and then the referee didn't see it and then it didn't count as a knockdown. And in some fights, it actually matters, like Sean Porter versus Ugas. So you have to, at the end of the day, you're only beholden to the rules of the sport and the referee makes the judgment calls. So for an Olympian to say that everything was going my way and I was in the fight, and because we took a brief pause where you both are able to catch your breath, how does that only benefit Tank Davis? I really don't get it. How did he, because after that moment, he got busy, And like, it's like Terrence Crawford, he had a ripped gloves in his last fight with David Avanesian, and with the ripped gloves, they did the break, and then Terrence Crawford just came more focused, and he ended up getting a stoppage right then and there, right? Because he just he's like, all right, enough games. If they stop the fight or if they want to switch gloves, let me just try to end this. And then he did it. So, I mean, a break is a breather, so it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It just so happens Tank started landing significant shots. And the shot that Tank caught Hector Luis Garcia with was super explosive. So, I mean, that's your fault. You have to protect yourself at all times. You can't be like, oh, there's people who parachuted into a ring or a Zab Judah fight where a riot broke out in the middle of the Floyd Mayweather Zab Judah fight. Stuff in boxing like that happens. I've seen fights in crowds. You have to be able to remain composed. And if you can't do that, then that's maybe something you need to work on in the gym, do some drills for what to do to stay mentally switched on, because that's boxing. Sometimes people get cut. You have to know how to respond to a bloody nose, to a cut with blood in your eyes, or a fractured hand, or your hand's hurting, or you pull something, you know what I mean? So it just sounds like a weak excuse, and it's a little bit embarrassing from Hector Garcia to even have said this. And at the end of the day, I'm not a big fan of it because it changes nothing. Let me know what you guys think, but to blame Tank Davis for the melee and altercations that happen as if he and his team set that up, that's crazy. I've never heard of it. And when it comes to Deontay Wilder, people say like, oh, Wilder need to stop making excuses, conveniently with the black fighter. But I didn't really hear a lot of people condemning Hector Luis Garcia for this, and he said this days ago. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with a $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.